is Glenn Tecker, and I serve as lead faculty for ASAE and the Center for Association Leadership's Symposium for Chief Staff and Chief Elected Officers. One of the questions that is frequently being asked at our programs has to do with the implications of Web 2.0 and social media on the current and future programming of associations. We've observed that there are two dynamics underway that have significant implications for our ability and desires to be able to provide continuing value as a community to the members and the missions that we serve. The first has to do with really understanding what Web 2.0 is and how it is different from Web 1.0. What Web 2.0 is not is a new piece of software, a new application, or a new systems infrastructure. What Web 2.0 is a term that's been coined to be descriptive of a new way in which the internet and web connectivity is being employed. You can think of Web 1.0 as a pure and inverted pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is a relatively small group of people who, through conversations with each other, produce insight, information, and knowledge. The value of Web 1.0 was that the point of the pyramid, when it produced that insight, information, and knowledge, then enabled it to be broadly and nearly instantly distributed to extraordinarily sized populations. To understand the difference between Web 0 and Web 2.0, it's useful to develop a different mental model. Instead of the pyramid of Web 1.0, picture an hourglass. Web 2.0 is about conversation. Web 2.0 is about large populations of people developing information, knowledge, and insight by communication and connectivity with each other, their understandings, and their alternative experiences. In Web 2.0, a large population at the base of an inverted triangle will develop information, insight, and knowledge. It will then be vetted by a smaller community that exists at the point where the upper triangle meets the bottom triangle. Once that expert community has vetted the information, then, as in Web 1.0, the information is then universally and ubiquitously available to a broader population than merely 20 years ago we ever thought conceivable. Many will remember that one of the attributes of Web 1.0 was a dynamic that was referred to as disintermediation. That is, the elimination of middle people from the distribution of information, products, and resources. If you wanted to buy a particular pair of shoes and you knew what shoes you wanted, you no longer had to go to a shoe store. You could go to the website of the manufacturer and order it directly. If you were looking for a piece of information, you didn't have to go to an information aggregator to conduct a piece of research to find it. You'd simply go to Ask or Google and put in your keywords and go directly to the primary source. In disintermediation, distribution intermediaries essentially disappeared from the roadmap of the web. Today's web is seeing a re-intermediation. In Web 2.0, we are observing a new class of intermediaries growing. But these are not distribution intermediaries. These are quality control intermediaries. If the power of the web is the democratic opportunity for anyone to participate by contributing anything, then the cross that the web is bearing is that anyone does contribute and contributes most anything, with little discernment between what is reliable, what is accurate, and what is useful, and what is not. So increasingly in Web 2.0 environment, we are finding frequent users looking for and willing to provide loyalty to any group that can serve as a quality control intermediary, a trusted advisor that can help them understand what's accurate and what's not, what's reliable and what isn't, what can be used in a particular kind of way and what should not be. It's not just any intermediary, it's a trusted intermediary. And our observation is that trade and professional associations are especially well suited to play the role of that expert community at the center of the hourglass that serves as the trusted intermediary for populations with a particular interest. The second unique dynamic of Web 2.0 really has to do with the disconnect between a couple of generations about it, particularly as it relates to social media. Baby boomers and pre-baby boomers think about Facebook and MySpace and LinkedIn and have a mental model of a broad, distributed, boundaryless community constantly talking to itself. Those who are the real users of that space understand that it is in fact a place that creates space for small, affectionate, and comfortable sub-communities of very esoteric common interests to form. So friendships are developed, relationships grow, all surrounding an issue, an idea, a field, a hobby of particular interest to a relatively small group that can now build relationships without the boundaries of geography playing any role. Those who have sought to use social media for the purpose of marketing, for finding the next job, for something that really involves pecuniary personal interest, rather than the development and sustaining of relationships, have not found a great deal of success in those uses. On the other hand, social media is a capacity that has not yet realized its full potential. And we expect over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, new ways to take advantage of the untapped capacity of that media will emerge. And we also expect that associations with foresight will serve in a leadership position in finding those new uses, rather than being victimized by positioning themselves as followers.